everybody, today's video is by special request, okay? Today I bring to you my first attempt at a video essay. It's probably not going to be very good, and it's definitely not going to be as flashy as some of the other video essays you've probably seen. However, it's baby's first video essay, okay? So, hang tight with me. But today we will be talking about and summarizing vaguely I'm forgetting the name. Not the name of the book, it's Lord of the Flies. But let me pull up my handy-dandy script here. Yeah, it is Golding. William Golding at that. William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Some of my previous students are currently reading that at the high school. And you may very well end up reading this book yourself. So yeah, we're going to hop into it. I have some gameplay and such for the background. I'm going to edit in some pictures and things of that nature. So let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Do you remember what you were up to when you were 6? Maybe 12? I was probably playing with Legos. I want you to really think for a second with me. Would 12-year-old you be able to survive the wilderness? It's a question that's too late to answer, most likely. However, that does not mean we can't theorize. William Golding, in his work Lord of the Flies, asks this question with some key aspects in mind. Namely, if a new civilization were to start, what archetypes of leaders and followers would develop? What mindsets would evolve? This classic is the perfect example of an allegorical take on civilization and savagery, and how people thrive or die trying to. To briefly summarize before tearing into the plot like pulled pork, the story takes place on a deserted island, now inhabited only by a small group of schoolboys from England, as their plane just crash-landed there. They were to be evacuated from the war occurring, and we see aspects of the ongoing war throughout the book. The main characters in question for this retrospective are Ralph, our thoughtful and diplomatic protagonist, Piggy, the logical and lovable character who reassures the boys using reason, Simon, a philosophical and deeply imaginative team player, and Jack, the aggressive, energetic fearmonger. These characters and their archetypes display a hypothetical civilization and its collapse into chaos and savagery. I should also preface my summary by saying that I will not be summarizing the book in its entirety. Go read the thing. There will be some details left out for the sake of this essay, specifically. With that being said, our most notable first point of action is the first meeting that is called. Ralph and Piggy happen upon a conch shell, which Ralph blows into at Piggy's request to sound a call for any of the other boys who, slowly but surely, come crawling from the forest. Jack, though, comes out of the woods with the other choir boys whom he knows. It is decided among them that whoever holds the conch shell has the right to speak, a clear symbol of democracy. Ralph, after discussion over their survival, suggests a democratic vote for leadership. Jack is excited at the prospect, enjoying the thought of leading his own tribe. Most of the boys, favoring Ralph's collected and strategic disposition, voted for him over Jack. This upset Jack, and this is the first time we see the proper fracture between Ralph and Jack's unity. One, our incarnation of democracy, order, and logic. The other, power, force, command. Knowing civilization typically needs both to survive, this schism does not bode well for the future of the boys. To appease Jack, Ralph appoints him the lead hunter, as the boys had devised a plan to go hunting. The separate distinction of worker on the island further exacerbates the divide between the boys. There are also fears among the younger boys about a beast. There's one boy that says they've seen it in the darkness, looked evasive and snake-like, and this scares the other boys, and and that fear is a lasting one and becomes vital in Jack's later rise to power. More on that later. There's a combined effort for some time between Ralph and the boys tending to their SOS signal fire and Jack and his hunters looking for food. This slowly diminishes, though, as the morale begins to decrease. More boys opt to play in the lagoon than help construct the crucial shelter that they need against the elements. As the signal fire goes out under the hunters' watch and they miss an opportunity for escape, Ralph and Jack have another argument. More meetings are held. As more faith is lost in Ralph, Jack's influence grows, and while Jack missed his first chance at a successful hunt, his anger and drive emboldens him and the other boys, who find excitement in the violence. We see this violence seep into the everyday lives of the boys, too. Some of Jack's friends stomp a young boy's sandcastle, and some throw rocks at the other boys, getting a thrill out of watching them run in fear. As all of this develops, so too does the fear of the beast. More testimonials of the beast are given by other boys, and many of them cannot sleep without having horrible nightmares. Eventually, overnight, a dogfight can be heard overhead between two warplanes. A dead soldier drifts to the island in a parachute, and it gets tangled in the vines. This mangled visage later is mistakenly assumed to be the beast, which prompts Jack and his boys to hunt it down. Ralph joins them as Piggy stays back to look after the younger boys. The hunt and subsequent scenes are some of the most important in the story, as we get to watch the downfall of their unity as the story reaches its climax. As they hunt for food, while they search for the beast, they come across a sow. They chase it down in a bloodlust, and without hesitation slay it brutally. The boys then act out the hunt, as if it were a game. The excitement over their kill soon blurred their vision, though, as they began to violently attack the boy acting as the pig. Once all was said and done and the game subsided, they carried off the pig, and Simon sat in the woods where it had been killed. The boys had savagely stuck the pig's head on a spear as an offering to the beast. Simon hallucinates that he's being spoken to by the head. We, the readers, know it's called the Lord of the Flies, but Simon never addresses it that way, nor is it told to Simon. The scene is fascinating for many reasons. The narrator implies that the voice is, in fact, the Lord of the Flies. If we read this as true, then perhaps during Simon's psychosis, the embodiment of rot and death actually spoke with him. The Lord of the Flies mocks Simon, exclaiming, "Fancy thinking the beast was something you could hunt and kill. You knew, didn't you? I'm part of you. Close, close, close. I'm the reason why it's no-go, why things are what they are." Its usage of slang mimics that of the boys, which increases the shock that Simon feels. That barbarism and savagery could sound so familiar. Of course, the other way we could see this is that this violence truly is capable of being committed by anyone, and the boys' slang that the Lord of Death used was simply Simon's subconscious mind attempting to rationalize his traumatized thoughts. Heartbreakingly, Simon discovers that the beast is a lie, and that it was only a man in a parachute they had seen. Upon his return to the beach, however, he's mistaken for the beast and torn into by Jack's tribe, killing him. Horrified at what they had witnessed and been complicit in, Ralph and Piggy leave Jack's feast to retreat to the beach. Seeing the excitement for violence and the eagerness to execute any of Jack's commands leads Jack to capitalize on the fear of the beast, claiming that it can come in many forms and must be killed, that it is still out there somewhere. It is this manipulation of fear which grips the boys and causes many of them to flee from Ralph in hopes of finding protection under Jack's rule. Once their means of making fire is stolen from them, Piggy's glasses, Ralph and Piggy desperately try to earn them back. In an echo of the scene on the beach where Jack's boys were throwing stones at the younger ones, a boulder is rolled down the side of the castle rock, Jack's base, striking and killing Piggy carelessly. Ralph flees, and his last main companions give in to Jack and his tribe. In the conclusion to this story, Ralph is informed that the tribe will hunt him down. He hides in the brush, which works for some time, until he realizes that Jack has begun to burn the entire forest down to smoke him out. Ralph runs and collapses on the beach. Just as he loses hope, he notices a naval officer standing on the shore. He dismisses all of the excitement for play pretend after questioning how they ended up there in the first place. Once he realizes the scope of what happened on the island, though, as well as the boys, he gives them privacy as they all begin to cry. This ending is inherently ironic, as the only fire to actually signal for help is the one that literally and figuratively burns the island to the ground. In contrast to the chaos, the officer appears to be the face of civilization and order. The greatest irony, and the thing that has been present since the beginning of the book, is the war. Is civilization truly civil, or are they just savages wearing uniforms? Once we zoom out to look at the civilizations in our own world, it is easy to find common archetypes in leadership and scientific development roles. While things are official and given laws and titles, the same barbarous acts are still carried out today. When we watch brutality or dehumanization on the news, it certainly doesn't strike us as participating in a hunt may. It is important to remember that violence is violence. We learn from Jack that the source of violence is fear. If you wonder about the struggles of real people in the world, what is the fear that drives the violence against them? What is the beast? Is the beast real? Or do we simply need a reason to continue to kill one another?